And welcome to The League Down Under. It's the podcast that takes you inside the inner sanctum of our Dynasty League. And it asks the question, which team are you going to side with? I'm your host, Ben, joined by my two co-hosts, Kenny and Hod. How we doing, boys?
Hello, Benjamin. Another great night. Glad to be with you, and I just can't stop watching our latest post of The League Down Under. Insta, it's that good, boys. Me just jagging the number one pick. But it's not about me tonight, boys. It's not about me. I want to make that really clear. Hod, do we have a special episode coming up?
Don't treat us silly. You will find a way to make it about you, I'm sure. But this was what we circled really early on. Start getting a taste of who the teams we have in this league, who are the great men behind them, and who are we going to support. And it's a cracker to start the season off.
Sure is, and that begs the question that I think you've led to there, that we must have a guest hiding behind the door right now.
Flashback.
We've got a guest on the line, waiting, ready to go. If you're in video format, then and if you're not, you might jump over now to the YouTube channel here, which is The League Down Under. But we've got our first team. We talk about this league. We talk about the eclectic mix of personalities that we've got here, and we've got here a great one to kick it off. And he is a former champion in the short existence of this league. He's someone who's not shy to jump on a trade here. And I've got a little song here just to introduce this team. I know I played the intro here with the doorbell, but this will really get people up and about. It is one of the most one-eyed D's fans. It is the GM of the San Diego Demons, the one and only Madison Beer. Michael Cummins. Welcome to the pod. How we doing, man?
Oh, that tune, I tell you what, it never gets old. I can get used to that.
So just take me back to a time where you happened to put about 6 goals in 30 seconds on the Bulldogs in a grand final.
Absolutely. Never gets old.
Got a very good run in 2021, that song, didn't it?
Absolutely.
But mate, before we jump into our great man, Camo, here on the pod, we were talking off air, Ben. If we had to describe and sum up this man in a sentence, how would we describe the San Diego Demons, just for the listeners out there?
I think it was it Bruce Lee that said the line of "always be water"? He's always moving. This guy never can sit still. He can never just sort of be content with the list that he's got. You're one of the more fascinating teams in the league, and we will go through your history, as we said, but to win a title and I think blow it up within what felt like about 30 seconds after winning the league. So Keeney's got a few stats for us, which we'll reel off a bit later. But yeah, that's my summary, is just he's always moving. He can never sit still.
Well, in a world, gents and ladies who are listening, in a world where genders are thrown around like hotcakes these days, don't be fooled. Madison Beer is, in fact, a man. And I think he's joined us from LA with Madison Beer because his tan is cooking and it looks delicious. Where have you been?
That's just Bayside living for you there. Yeah. Standing hand being a good workout, but yeah, we're all good here.
What was that quote, Hod? Was that sounded like something from Confucius?
Yeah. What was the narcissism?
Well, I think on that note, we better ask our man Camo, what have you thought of the first couple of episodes, mate? I'm keen to get your thoughts on this.
I've been very busy, boys. I have to say, so.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
No.
You couldn't have picked a worse person to get on then.
I might need to catch up on those soon.
No.
So can I just recap? So you haven't been following along. That means that you didn't follow along the last episode where we did the actual lottery draft live on the pod, which heavily affected you. I mean, you had a monopoly on the first round. It really was for you, and you didn't even bother to listen.
I'm very pessimistic, and clearly it didn't work because it didn't work out for me by avoiding it. So next time I will listen in, no doubt.
There will be a Netflix documentary about last week's draft lottery. Don't you worry. Investigations are on.
I like that the next time you're going to listen in is the one that you heavily feature on. So if there's ever a narcissism that I've heard of, it's got to be that one, isn't it? We love to have you on here, but Keeney, I think we've got to sound the alarm, don't we? We have had some trades go down, everyone. We said we would keep you informed about the movements of this league. A couple of big trades have gone down this week. One involving yourself just today, Camo. So, Keeney, do you want to run? Maybe we start with the trade that Camo did with the DFF today.
Yeah, very interesting, especially off the back of our little mock draft there, which Camo tune in. Very nice little mock draft. Don't want to influence what you want to do there, but clearly moving off the 106, coming up into the 104 for the 201 in this year's draft as well. So without knowing too much about your strategy, you could almost reveal what your strategy is because you now hold 2, 3, and 4. So clearly in your mind, there's a tier break there at either pick 4 or 5 for you.
Yeah, pretty much. The reason why I ended up going from 6 to 4 was because I just didn't want to be in a position to pick 3 where I was choosing between two players. I just wanted to have like all those picks in a row. I feel like it was safer for me, less chance of missing out on someone. So it wasn't so much about the tier break. It was more just getting as many picks in a row so that I wasn't kind of picking and choosing between a couple of players and wondering who would go next and then who might fall to my next pick. I just wanted them all in a row. That was the thinking behind it.
Okay. So can you reveal on the pod right here, right now, a few weeks away from the actual draft, which we'll mention at some point, we'll actually lock that in. But do you want to reveal maybe where you're thinking you might go? I'll give you a little bit of insight into my thinking. I'm going to take a running back.
On what you do.
I'm probably going to take a running back early.
Okay. Should we just start the draft now then, Keeney? Is that
we might as well, mate.
Is that what you're alluding to?
We might as well. Is this double receiver? Is that you didn't want to choose between the two boys? That's what I figured.
Spot on. Exactly right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, I can't split the receivers at the top of the board, so I just figured if I've got as many picks in a row that I could just reel them off one by one. But yeah, that's 100% the thinking is that those picks will be used on wide receivers.
And so, did you go to the DFF because you knew that he wouldn't overthink it too much, and you could get away with taking candy from a baby, or
no, not at all. I think you guys heavily underrate DFF. No, to be honest, he came to me with that proposal, and so I had a look at it. I had a couple of other things that I kind of sent back to him, which he wasn't interested in. So we came back to his original offer and got it done pretty quick.
He is an enigma, our man. The factory. How was he to work? I know he came to you, so that's normally when trades get done with the DFF. If it's his idea,
that's the all clear.
That's probably the only way he trades. So
yeah, I'd like to think I'm pretty easy to deal with. If someone sends me a trade offer and it's within a ballpark of being reasonable, I'll probably accept it. So it was pretty smooth.
Was it something that you thought about before he actually slid into your DMs there, or was it you're just going to let it settle for a little bit?
Yeah, I was going to let it settle for a bit. Probably might have been something I looked at closer to the draft once I'd done a bit more research and worked out those tier breaks as such. Yeah, it would have been something I looked at closer to the event. So it was a pleasant surprise.
I'll tell you who's going to be looking closely at things, and that's the DFF's lovely better half, because if he's sliding into Madison Beer's DMs, that's a real problem. But does that mean, boys, that the DFF might be addressing a position of need with running back potentially on the board at number 6?
Yeah, it's got me wondering what his thinking was going in if he's proposed that to you. So clearly, yeah, I'm intrigued to know where his thinking was going with that. So we won't try and speculate. We won't try and get in his own head. The other trade that went down this week in the league, just before your one went down, was between two of the co-hosts here, in myself and Keeney Hod.
Well, we were just talking about this. I think a great segue is the OG owner of Patrick Mahomes. He's come full circle with these two gentlemen on this podcast. And now, what are your thoughts on where he's at, and then Keeney acquiring him in this lovely deal that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, it's big. It is big. Kind of like it from both perspectives here. It's certainly clear on where both teams are going. And anytime Patrick Mahomes is involved in a dynasty trade, it's just blockbuster. So this was really good to see. I like this.
Yeah, and Hod alluded to it. You actually took him at the 101. Is that correct? You were 102, sorry. That's right. So Hod had the very first pick in our Dynasty startup draft. You had pick 2. Hod took CMC. You took Patrick Mahomes. And then after one season, traded him to me for Herbert and a first and a second, I think it might have been off the top of my head. And he's been on my list ever since. So I've parted ways with him. And for anyone not watching where I've actually got this trade up on the screen, the trade was that Keeney acquired Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, and the 301 in this year's draft. And in return, I got my own 2027 first back, which is important. I got, I think it was Pappas 2027 first, and a 4th round for 2028, just, because you got to balance out both sides, sprinkle in a little magic at the end there. So, yeah, you're spot on. I think that Keeney is in a point now where he's got picks and he can, he's getting now back-to-back drafts with the best up-and-coming running back talent going around in Genty and now Love. And I think that you've got the picks to pivot in that 27 draft to go for a tilt this season. Am I right in assuming? I mean, Devontae Adams is a pretty good indicator for that.
Yeah, I think it gives me that opportunity. I also think, whenever we talk about these sorts of trades, you touched on it, but having your 2027 first also gives you the opportunity to either have a look what it looks like early days and then pivot with confidence.
Which, can I just jump in? I did notice when, when you send a trade on Sleeper, for anyone who uses Sleeper, and it goes to that separate messenger between you and the person. And just above it was the trade where you sent Devontae Adams to me and I gave you, as part of that trade, my 2027 first. So it was kind of like we just held on to each other's assets there and then swapped back. So interesting.
Yeah, but it gives in what is at the moment, the 2027 draft is well spoken about, and giving yourself an opportunity. If you wanted to have a lottery pick now, you own your own pick and you've got options. So I think most would look at it. I don't know, Hod, you're also impartial. You can give us your thoughts briefly, but I think most would look at it and say it's probably about right in terms of price point and what was given up.
Yeah, for me, the interesting part is the Mahomes piece here, because this is the lowest he's been ranked in Dynasty football for his career, 8 seasons or however long it is. He's currently quarterback 11 to 13, depending on what ranking system is out there. But yeah, consensus is about 12. So the question will be, are you getting the Mahomes we've become accustomed to? Obviously, hoping you are for the collateral that you've capital that you put away. So that's a real interesting one coming back off that knee injury. It's a fun trade for both sides.
All right, but enough about that trade there. I think we need to move to the man of the hour, the San Diego Demons GM here. We'll give a snapshot to the listeners. So obviously we've got a portion of the listeners right now who know everything about this man. We did sort of indicate that, to sum him up, he loves a trade. I mean, I don't even think we can sell that anymore on this pod. Then this guy absolutely loves to slide into people's DMs and propose trades. Keeney, do you want to launch into? You've got a fun stat, or should we save that for a little bit later after we go through his team?
No, well, I think we can. I think I can give a bit of a synopsis in terms of Camo's journey throughout the EDL. I think that's a good place to start. And I think if we start most recently, I think we have to acknowledge that this man went 0-14 last year, and didn't get pick one. So it's very reminiscent to me of Melbourne tanking for Jack Watts and Nick Naitanui being a better player. So
Yeah.
it rings pretty true. But I just want to take you into the philosophy and the mindset of this man. So we started this league in 2020. In the first season, we saw 10 trades from Camo. But then in season 2, do you know how many trades Camo had in season 2?
It doubled 20? I don't know.
35 from our man. 35.
3.5 times more. That's
And then the following year another 20 just on top. We'll get to where he's sort of come from a bit later on, I think, but we have to acknowledge that he won the league in 2024, 2 years ago, and then did decide to blow it up. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on, but this has been a successful Dynasty player in our league, and he's currently working his way all the way back from the bottom, and I'm really, really interested to see strategically how you go about this, given how much draft capital you've got in the one draft.
I was just going to say that he hasn't listened to it, which we unfortunately heard, but we did in our first episode, we did a team comparison to the 12 league members as to who they are in the NFL, and we put you as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because you won the championship and you haven't been cited since. So how does that sit with you firstly?
Yeah, that's really accurate. That's actually the first team that came to my mind as well. Trading heavily, obviously won a title and pretty much irrelevant since then. So I think you nailed it.
Trading heavily is understated. With the trigger fingers that Madison Beer has, you would get a starting gig as the Cleveland Browns quarterback, I reckon.
But
should do it.
winning rings and then being irrelevant is basically what Dynasty is all about, right?
Yeah,
You'd probably want to be
love.
in those spectrums.
Not according to the DFF.
No, you can just be irrelevant. Hey, come on, I've got a question for you just off the bat.
Yep.
Does the date December 10, 2024 mean anything to you?
December 10, 2024. No.
Was the last time you won a game in the EDL. So it takes me back a fairly long time ago, but do you know who it was up against as well?
It might have been against Brody.
No, it was the DFF, of course.
Come on.
What a great start. It's been a while, mate. Are you let's dive into where your team is at the moment, because we need to go through it. What are your plans? You've got 9 first round picks. What are your plans? Are you trying to use them all, or are you trying to balance out your team this year? Because in my view, you're in a really fortunate spot. Your division is one that allows you to compete whenever you like. Whenever you're ready, mate, you'll be competing in that division because it's absolute rubbish.
Well, yeah, with all due respect to the other people in my division, the other teams in my division, you are correct. So right now I'm at the bottom, as Zip and 14 would suggest. And these are actually self-inflicted wounds as well. And I noticed you haven't gone through the amount of trades I made last season, because I'm tipping the number came right down. Because I did self-exclude from sending any outbound trades. If anyone sent me a request, I was still open to it, but I did refrain from going through every other league member's team and sending a trade request about once a week. So I did hold back on that. So there's no denying I'm right at the bottom. When it comes to the plans for the future, when it comes to trading, my entire outlook is on value. Value, that's it. So even if an aging running back is not someone that a 0 and 14 team needs, if I get offered an aging running back for a pick that I deem they're higher, the running back's the higher value, I'll just take that trade and then hopefully down the track be able to trade that aging running back to another team for a better pick or better value. So the plan is to take all the picks of the draft and use them, take best available player. However, if anything comes across my desk, like it did this week, then I'm going to be open to it for sure.
The self-restraint for your efforts last year. Was that a weekly sort of meeting that or a self-talk, or how was that logged?
It was cold turkey, really.
Yeah, incredible.
And yeah, just a lot of reflecting on the current situation where my team was at.
Well,
Lot of
I reached
respect.
out to you as we were approaching the NFL draft, and I believe your self-constraint might have had the baggy green on, because he said, it's cricket season. I haven't thought about it yet. So he's a
I'm
man
not
of
sure if that would have been. It probably would have been its racing season. I haven't thought
Racing.
about it yet. Yeah, that's probably closer to the
silk
closer
song.
to the mark.
racing. What's then the autumn carnival?
I have no idea. It wouldn't have been cricket season though. That's for sure.
No.
Just gave you crickets instead, Hod.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week he did.
What
And
about
I understand you're a bit rusty, Madison, but there is a mantra that we follow on this podcast, and that is the best division in world sport. And you've just come out and whacked us.
No, I said with all due respect.
We'll tighten that
Doesn't
up.
mean you get to say whatever you want to say.
yeah? What's your philosophy, Camo, on a team build? Like, you're clearly starting from at the bottom. Are you of the belief that get a team that can get you there and let variance do the rest in the playoffs? It's proven to be a pretty successful strategy in our league in the first 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Or are you let's get right down to the bottom, try and add as much elite talent before I have a crack at it, and then try and actually have the best team before I go for it?
Oh, for sure. Like, my original plan when it comes to Dynasty is build up from quarterbacks and wide receivers and build a dynasty effectively. But if anything, this league has shown us it is simply all you got to do is make top 6 and see what happens. So I think I could kind of throw out the perfect build out the window and just try and make playoffs. I'm not expecting that to happen next season, but the year after, anything can happen. We've seen that. You just got to make it.
Well, that's where it's interesting with your division, in my view, because I think your division, you could probably win your division if you flicked a few of your picks around. There's one player on your roster that has immense value, as we all know, and I'm sure you've had many DMs about JSN, one of the best receivers in Dynasty in the NFL. Where are you at with him? Is he a building block? Is he one of those players which, with what you said before, in terms of if someone offers you something outrageous, you'd look at it? Or are you, no, this is going to be a pillar wide receiver for me going forward?
Yeah. I mean, he's top 2 and he's not second. So, yeah, it would take a big offer to extract him from my roster. But as I said, like, I'm all about value. So if the right value comes across the desk, I'll definitely be accepting it. No doubt. Like, I love the guy, but he's not untrade. Like, no one's untradeable. I got him because I traded CD Lamb at kind of the peak of his powers, got JSN in. I'll do the same thing again this season. If there's another player that's offered up and the value is too good to refuse, I'd take that for sure. So yeah, there have been a few offers come across, but I suppose when you're right down the bottom in my position, you know, it is hard to get a deal done because a lot of people offer you great win now pieces, but if it doesn't, it's not going to work, then it's not going to happen. So a difficult one to trade off, but every time I see that meme of like the complete shack house with like a incredible sports car in the carport, it totally reminds me of JSN on my roster. Like, it's ridiculous.
And
I feel bad.
We have titled a JSN name on this podcast, haven't we, Ben? Jesus.
Jesus, Super and Jigba. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
He was. We had a joint team last year in a creator league, the three of us, and he was our centerpiece. He's unbelievable. I mean, you spoke about it. You bought him at the perfect time. There were question marks on him. Obviously, he came from a very wide receiver heavy college. Wasn't the number one. I mean, there's Carnell Tate parallels there, who probably is going to end up on your team based off where your draft picks fall right now. So some very big similarities there. And just for anyone, I mean, listening, I've got on the screen now just some key players from your team here. We've got JSN sitting here, number 1. highest value player. This is off a really reputable source, dynastydaddy.com. For anyone out there who's wondering, we've just punched our league into there, and they've given value to different players. So this is sort of a breakdown of your team. I'll scroll back up. It does have you. You said down the bottom, it's got you ranked 11th. So let's have a team worse than you right now.
Might be a co-host.
From a starter point of view, so it's saying off your starting sort of lineup, you're the second worst team. But from an overall, like a dynasty point of view, that's taking your draft picks into account. It's got you at 9th overall. So we'll see how that trend continues on the old Dynasty Daddy. This might be not a sponsor, but that could become a sponsor if they start listening. It's got a bit of a web.
That's it. That's it. That's it for his team, isn't it? Just
draft
not much
picks.
else to talk about, is there?
Well, I was about to go through it. There's JSN, there's Bryce Young, there's Jordan Addison, Rashad White, and Njoku. Then it drops off heavily. Deshaun Watson, Elijah Ororo, Tez Johnson, LaQuint Allen. He's got some value, doesn't he? And then it literally drops to 0 after that. Like, they don't even give value to the rest of your players here. So I'm going to scroll through if anyone wants to watch this and see sort of the remaining pieces. But probably, I mean, we've hinted to it. Where your value lies is in your draft picks. And I'll quickly switch screens here. And that is, you've currently got the 102, 3. Did you gain the 4 today? Have just updated this?
4, 5.
Yeah, it's just all out of order.
It hasn't put it in order for some reason. 4, 5. Now I'm really lost here. 9, 10, 11, 12. Like that's a fair chunk of the first round that you've got there. So, I mean, you don't want to reveal your tactics too early, but how many of those are going to be players that end up on your roster, and how many of those picks are going to get traded potentially before? Rough sort of percentage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were very generous earlier, Ben, when you said the key players that I have on my squad. There's clearly only one. But when it comes to those picks, like right now the plan would be to head to the draft and use all of those picks on players, just purely because that's how I'm going to fill out my roster best, is by utilising as many of those picks as possible. So that's the plan right now. But yeah, on the night, obviously if the pick comes up and there's one of the other league members are keen on it, they send across a player or two. I'd definitely be interested in that, because I do have a few spare spots on my roster, to put it lightly.
Sounds like the inbox is open. Have you had any other little nibbles outside of the DFF?
No, not because obviously we've only just done completed the lottery. So now that those picks are locked in, I'd expect there'd probably be more leading up to the draft now that they're all locked in. But just the DFF so far.
So you spoke about JSN being the expensive car sitting in an inexpensive property here on your team. Outside of him, though, give us a player on your roster that you're sort of irrationally high on. Maybe someone that you think has massive upside and massive value, and you don't really plan to trade him right now because no one else sees it that way.
Yeah. There's only one, and it would be Jordan Addison. He's just a player that I absolutely love. He seems like a bit of an unstable character off the field, though. I mean, there are so many red flags, it's scary. And who is the quarterback at the Vikings is another question that needs to be answered. So his value couldn't be any lower right now, but I just couldn't be any higher on him as an actual NFL player. And so if that talent shines through, then he's the one that I can see stepping up from a football sense and a fantasy point sense. But just based on those off-field issues and the Vikings organisation where he's at, I can't see his actual fantasy value lifting, but he's the player that I like the most.
I like that you picked what Dynasty Daddy considered as the second most valuable player on your roster is.
Dynasty Daddy's nailing it so far.
Speaking of off-field issues, do you feel like the San Diego Demons have probably issues in terms of who they're selecting from an off-field point of view? You've also got Deshaun Watson parked on your bench there. It's not a good combo, mate. Is there something we should know about how you're scouting players for your
Brody
team?
called this about 5 years ago, unfortunately. So Yeah, it's not good. It's not something I take into account too much. I'm literally just points based. I'm not personal based. It's all about the points. And yeah, it hasn't worked out.
It's a sales organisation with no HR, just heavy KPIs.
Something like that.
Goodness.
Round it out there, Ben. I think
Yeah, also, another one to follow up here is which player on your roster are you most worried about losing value this season? We've kind of only spoken about really one player with value. Do we say outside of JSN, who do you worry is going to drop in value?
Not that they drop in value because their value is pretty low as it is, but I could see Bryce Young not being in the league much longer. So that would...
It's a fair call.
Yeah.
it's a great answer though. He's at the
Oh,
crossroads.
it's the right answer.
Yeah.
And that whole draft basically is at the same point with Richardson and even CJ Stroud to an extent. It's not as bleak as it sounds. David and Njoku just got a deal with your Chargers today.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty exciting. A pretty proven player at the best position in world sport. Any insight as to how you think he might go?
Yeah, very excited to see him at the Chargers. I think the biggest thing there will be the offensive line, which will then get Justin Herbert a little bit of time to throw it. But obviously at the tight end position, if he gets towards that first read, then the O-line won't matter as much either. So I think he'll be used a fair bit. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Real life and fantasy, I think that's a good result.
I think a lot of people forget two massive losses to the Chargers O-line during the
I didn't
season.
forget.
Yeah,
Every
I know
Monday.
you wouldn't have forgotten, but I think
Every
a lot of
Monday
people,
had to get through that.
from a fantasy point of view, forget that like two elite offensive linemen drop from that, and then that sort of becomes where Herbert, Hampton, they start to regress from where they were in the season. So Njoku's an interesting one. It's also interesting, Camo, because it might be the first time you don't have to actively trade in a Chargers player to your lineup because it just sort of happened organically for you anyway. So
Literally fell in my lap. Couldn't have worked out better.
saved you in the long run.
I had to jump on double check he was still on my roster, so I was stoked when he was.
I I love that the way to summarise Camo's team is his second best player. He's got grave concerns that he'll be on a NFL field in a year's time. So I think that's a lovely way to sum up where the roster's at the moment. Hey, Camo, I've got a quick question about the draft. I know you haven't done a ton of prep, but you do have a lot of picks, as we've touched on, not only at the pointy end, but at the back end of the first round. I think you've got the last 5 picks of the first round. We spoke in our mock draft about the possibility and the likelihood of maybe you ending up at some point with Ty Simpson there from the LA Rams as another developmental QB on the roster. Is that a fair assumption to suggest that he might be someone you're looking at to build with Mendoza going forward?
Well, could he be the one the DFF's eyeing off at the 106?
Ooh. Oh, Hod likes it.
He very well could.
Does fit the mould. So we'll see.
I like
There-
the...
But
he is.
yeah, if he was
He
there
is
later
white.
in round 1, I would be interested for sure.
Love it. Let's change gears here a little bit. Let's go trade and strategy. You've kind of been upfront about your philosophy in Dynasty. You live on Wall Street. You play the market and take the value where it is, rather than getting emotional about players, which someone else in our league does. But if you could steal, let's get your perception for the rest of the league. If you could steal one player from another roster right now, who would you pair with Jesus, Super, and Jigba?
Yeah, so the first player straight off the bat is Marion Hampton. He's the one that I would...
You are so biased, it's not funny.
Such a homer.
This is legit, yeah? You're not just...
No, this is 100% legit. Of
Quentin Johnston.
No, I can see Hampton definitely being a top 3 running back
No,
this
that's
year,
fair.
just based on what
It
you've
is a
already...
fair call.
It's a massive call. Give us more about that. Like, obviously, the tackles returning is a big deal. It's a high-flying offense.
Yeah.
that you are front and center of shacking up with the quarterback. What else?
And the coaching, they want to run the ball. Like,
True.
it's very clear they want to run the ball. And he showed massive glimpses, flashes of talent last year. So I couldn't be higher on him. Could not be higher on him. So definitely that's where it would be, for sure.
Well, it might be a segue. We'll see how you will and deal in this season. But what's the best trade you've ever made in this league? You've made an awful amount.
Yeah.
Is there one that sticks out? Let's just rule out the Mahomes-Herbert one, because that goes without saying as the partner of.
Yeah. Honestly, I've made that many trades, I cannot really recall my favourite. I'm sure your next question is going to be the worst trade I've ever made. And that one, there's two that stand out real bad to me, and they were both made with last year's champ.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to give him any more credit than he's already got, but I traded for obviously his 26 pick, thinking it'd be like top 4, and it ended up being the 112, which is horrific. But all time throughout the league, I actually had Garrett Wilson on my squad, and I traded him for Allen Robinson when he first went to the Rams as like an old running back.
Pretty bad.
And I smashed that trade in every trade calculator. Like, it was all saying like smash accept, smash accept. And I just couldn't I couldn't not believe that the trade was sent my way. And I got a 3rd round pick on top as well. And so that's by far the worst trade I've ever made. I lose sleep. They're probably the two trades that sent me towards the self-exclusion last year. Right there, as it would.
I reckon the best trade you made was probably the Jackson Smith and Jigba trade, because you, as you said, you sold Lamb, and that was ballsy at the time. Like, Lamb was pretty clear cut dynasty wide receiver 1 or 2 with Chase and Jefferson, maybe 3. But you got ETN and a first on top of JSN, so that was a big haul for CD Lamb. You cashed in for the younger asset, and obviously he hadn't done a heap at that point, but very, very nice foresight by you, Madison.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, within probably 6 months, Lamb and JSM were probably equal, so everything else on top was gravy. So, yeah, that's a good call, actually.
I think
Bit of Steve Mann about it.
I think it's always a good sign when that Matt has called that one out as one of his biggest regrets, and it's again playing to your philosophy about, if you don't get emotional with these players and you just look at it from a market lens, that may have been the highest price point that CeeDee Lamb ever had, and you decided to get out. And then obviously you nailed the other side of picking the up-and-comer or the tier up or 2 levels. So it's a great call. But I love that you didn't answer my question and then answered it with another question that wasn't on the rundown that we gave you. So this prep is unbelievable.
He's a unique individual, this bloke.
He's slippery like Deshaun.
He's very slippery. But I think we touched on it before, but in 2020 he had 10 trades. In 2021 he had 35. In 2022, 20. But I want to take us back to 2023. He only had the 9, but won the league in 2023. And then you thought, you know what, I've got the ring. I've banked it. I'm going to blow it up now. What was firstly, before I get to the next part, what was the reason for doing that? So you just come off winning it, and then your philosophy just completely shifted to rebuild mode. Why? Why did that happen?
Yeah. So with that roster that won the title, I reckon I had we start 10. I think I had 11 good players. And I just thought, if I lose 1 or 2 players, I'm not winning it again next year. Like, lightning's not striking twice. Like, I just had one of those dream runs over the last 4 or 5 weeks where I had no injuries. Everyone else copped a couple, and I won it. And so I just looked at the roster and thought, this is not winning another title next year or the year after. So I have to go backwards to go forwards, the Dynasty way. And unfortunately, I don't think I did a very good job of it. Like, I think once you start trading off assets, it's like a fire sale, and people kind of realize they don't have to pay top price. You really have to nail your first couple of trades, because when you're a contender, people seem to pay more for your assets. But once you're down the bottom, they know that your high point scorers aren't doing you any favours anyway. So they do kind of come in with lower offers, and that's completely fair enough. And they don't get outbid, so you kind of have to accept what you can. So if I had my time again, I probably would have done it a little slower rather than just trading off my 8 best players within a week or something. That would be my advice if I was to do it again.
It's some good advice there. And you did mention when you won your title, Keeney's also mentioned that you kind of have just gone into hiding since then. So much so that I'm currently holding your championship ring on stream right now. You haven't been around to accept it. So, mate, this
Flash
might
that
be
baby.
the official...
Flash that baby. Look at it.
On the stream there. It's got
the same colour as his shirt.
Empire Dynasty League logo on it. I mean, it's got... What's it? It's got your man, CeeDee Lamb, on the side, who was instrumental. We won't talk about who you beat in the championship. It's got your record there. I mean...
I was going to say the DFF will love this, but Ben only took it out so he got the actual touch it. He could actually touch the ring for the first time, and that's the only reason he got it in the box.
That's why I haven't given it to Camo. I still haven't accepted the fact that you beat me in the final.
There's many great memories there. I think CeeDee Lamb scored an 89-yard touchdown on about the first play of the game on Thursday Night Football. So I thought it was just my time.
People don't forget.
For anyone listening who's ever played fantasy, full tilt is real, and it's heavy in Dynasty, especially in a final. I don't think I've gone through this ever, the wave of emotions of ecstasy to just like... I needed to go for a walk. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I mean, your philosophy was fair in that final. You just turned your phone off and you went, what will be? You've been very zen of you. What will be, will be. I watched literally Red Zone from about 4 a.m. and felt every emotion the whole way through. So...
Well, Camo used to be a stress watcher, didn't you? And you've changed tact. Is there any updates on that? From your,
no.
So
yeah, I do not check the fantasy scores until the end of the day.
Discipline.
Absolutely. So I just watch the NFL, enjoy it for what it is, and then I check at the end and go, I lost by a point. So far out. That final touchdown at 2 p.m. after I've been up since 4 a.m. It's
a real reflective approach.
I like it. But yeah, you did win the league in 2023. And then in 2024, that's when you blew it up. So 19 more trades for the San Diego Demons. If I do some really, really, really quick maths, we're at 97 trades in the first 5 years, which is a pretty good effort. But I want to take you through some of the names that you traded away. It was quite phenomenal. Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, Brian Thomas, CeeDee Lamb, Joe Mixon, Devonta Smith, Zach Charbonnet, TJ Hawkinson, Najee Harris, Chris Olave. Your team was loaded, mate. Your team was absolutely stacked. And dare I say it, if you maybe didn't do all that, you might have won another one.
Yeah, hindsight is a wonderful thing. When you list off the names like that, maybe I could have, but at the time, I didn't think I could.
And then, of course, everyone went into lockdown in 2020, but Camo went into lockdown in 2025 with just the one trade in 2025.
And that must have come to me. I must have accepted the trade, I'd say.
And then, but what the best news of the night, Hod, is that he's already on the board in 2026 and the season hasn't started yet. We're back. Our man's back. I feel good about it.
He's going to raise the bat soon. 3 more to go.
Yeah. Yeah, 100
trades. The inaugural.
I know this is a question without notice, Keeney, but can you find out who's second in the league? And maybe as we go on in the recording, you might be able to, just for comparative sake, because I don't think anyone would even be anywhere close to that 97 trades. That's astonishing.
I know who'd be last.
Yeah, well, the guy whose philosophy is don't ever trade. It's probably a shoo-in. You had your stats there, Kenny. Did you have any more questions before I fire into mine?
No, not outside of your division. What's your take on your division right now, Camo? Who should be winning it? Who's overrated? Who's underrated? What are you thinking? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I think DFF will win the division.
Ooh,
Um,
heard that before.
so, yeah, no, probably not from me, but definitely this season. I think it's his time. I really think it's his time. I think his team squad's a little bit underrated, and that's probably because I think you guys are a bit harsh on him sometimes. And I think he's gonna. The other three teams have all won it before, so this would be interesting to see if he can snag his first division title, and I think he can.
Was that part of the slide back to just give him a little tickle on the pod live?
Not at all.
Jeez, it sure sounded like it.
Handshake agreement. I think not only, Camo, could you be onto something here, I think that the DFF will not only go on a historic run potentially this year, he will. I mean, this is when we're trying to call on fans. He's gonna get this wave of fans that jump on the DFF. He's got his socials up and about. He's one of the first teams to get that up and running. So we've got to give credit where it's due. He's right into he's balls in on this season. So I think you're onto something here.
I think he's already been reported.
Well, he's been reported because all 12 of his followers he created the accounts for.
The bot factory.
I did find it funny that his followers were himself, which is always a good follower, and his wife. And that was it.
Which he hacked into her phone to do.
Which is good because he normally likes his own work.
Yeah, he started well. Sure. Camo, we've talked enough about our division. It's a great one. Outside of that, in the rest of the league, who is the most overrated team, do you think, maybe amongst the contenders?
Yeah, it'd definitely be Manny's team. I have no idea who
is it rated?
Overrated it apart from himself, but he would overrate it enough on his own to cover everyone's teams. So, like, straight up, that's my answer. Easy.
Fair call. That's a fair call. All right, well, let's move to in the league, because obviously all of us know the league, but let's paint a picture for the impartial listeners out there. Which owner's one bad season away from a full emotional rebuild?
Like yourself.
I know where the answer's going.
I think it probably has. I hate to say it, but I think it might be Papa.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to cop strays on that one. Papa.
It's not a bad call.
It is a fair call, actually. He's a very emotional man.
But do you know why it's a good call? Because he's sneaky. His team's good, but he loved rebuilding and being bad for those 2 years. He loved it, and I get it. It's actually quite enjoyable because there's less stress. You don't wake up worrying about what the score's going to be, and the draft research, Hod, which you'd be all over, is the best part about it.
It's like come on a Monday morning, stress-free.
Ooh, sorry, what?
Sorry. Striking midnight.
Careful.
No, it's spot on. And that's the beauty of Dynasty. It's you're obviously playing for the top prize, and that's what we do it for. But it is, you get a lot more sleep when you're down the bottom and follow the draft relentlessly. So enjoy it while you're down there, Camo. It's a fun time.
All right, Camo, we've been saying what we sort of summarise your team to be. If your franchise had a headline at the end of the season, end of this season, what's it going to be?
The biggest shock in EDL history.
Oh, I love that. And that's it. ...
There you go. He did a mic drop on that one.
Is he going to quit? Like what?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the shock's going to be.
Could just be like win a game after going zipping 14, or it could be better than that. We'll wait and see. But that'll be the head.
Or it turns out you're actually Madison Beer, and that's the biggest shock this league's ever seen.
Oh,
I like that. That's bold. That's very bold.
So final question, boys. We up to this? We want to make this. We want to make this a weekly segment for all 12 weeks for every team.
It's what the people want to know. Let's be honest.
Yeah, this is the real juicy one. Cometh the man. Who in the league? Is he still there?
Man, are you still there, mate?
Cometh the man, cometh the legend. Who in the league do you refuse to trade with and who in the league do you enjoy trading with? Both ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
Lay it all out there.
Yeah, so who I refuse to trade with is absolutely nobody. I would trade with people outside the league if I could.
I'll rephrase it. Who's the hardest to trade with?
Yeah, okay.
Probably the bloke whose full-time job it is. He may, probably because he's good at it.
Who are you referring to?
Keeney.
Nah.
Oh.
We do good trades.
We do good trades, but
you make it difficult for him.
just a lot of back and forth, You know,
does his have the most refinement? So like
yes,
from initial
most
offer
points
to
right.
end of trade, that's got the most.
He
refinement.
has established in 2029, which
Just wants a little.
academy picks are coming through, and so he needs a fourth rounder then. So he's got enough points for this, that, and the other to do another trade, and
Good
so
call.
it gets very long-winded.
It's a good call.
Right, I shouldn't have asked that question. Keep going. Who's the best person to trade with? Don't say DFF.
Anyone.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone, anyone, and everyone. The best person to trade with is always the person that sends me an offer. That's what I'd say.
Real low standards, man.
I love it.
Really?
I'm getting from this podcast tonight, boys. Our man's back. He's back amongst it. Like, I reckon, can we eclipse 35 trades from 2021? Can we get to 36 in a season? Because I want to know, like, you've spoken a lot tonight about players hitting you up and getting inside your inbox. Are you going to be aggressive going the other way?
Look, as I said earlier, I have self-excluded after going zip and 14. However, it probably only takes one to break the camel's back, doesn't it? Like, once I send one offer out, it might just be a free fall after that. So watch this space.
One sip.
I'm going to put it out there now for anyone watching this on YouTube. There's a comment section. Comment now. What's your prediction on Camo's trades for this season? 35 is the benchmark. Put it in the comments. How many do you think this bloke is going to, by season end, what's he going to eclipse here? But Camo, I'm going to throw to you on the sign-off this week because we talk about trying to recruit people to our sides. You are the first team that we are putting a spotlight on in the league down under here. That is the San Diego Demons. The floor is yours. This is your elevator pitch to anyone listening that doesn't know you. Recruit as many people as possible. What would you say?
I would just say join us while we're at the bottom and you can reap the rewards when we're at the top. Thanks for coming.
Mate, as far as elevator pitches go, you nailed that. That was
Have you been
5 seconds?
Have you been on Survivor or something?
Mic drop.
That is a Mike Cummins drop there. Thanks for listening to another episode of The League Down Under. Be sure to check it out on YouTube. We've got the Instagram highlights. There's going to be a few highlights that feature on this one. And be sure to tune in next week for another showcase of a team. And we'll see you later.